The Isle of Man, home to the world's greatest road race, has come alive again after 3 long years. For the first time since 2019, the sport's biggest names have joined thousands of fans in the heart of the Irish Sea. Yesterday saw the first live televised coverage of the action right here on TT+, and we've barely begun, with every twist and turn of this famous course coming to you live over the next 11 days. With the first session complete and fans arriving from around the world, we can officially say the Isle of Man TT is back. And how good does that sound? Hello and welcome wherever you're joining us from in the world today. This is our studio in Douglas in the This is a long road. Wait till the fire is in mind. Made my mistakes, by the my decisions. My world, a gift to be living. So when I come home, will you have mercy on my soul? Hello and welcome wherever you're joining us from in the world today. This is our studio in Douglas in the Isle of Man. We're just a few yards away from the start line. We're in about 30 minutes time. The second qualifying session will get underway. We've got the superbikes, the super stock, the super sport and the sidecars. So around 3 hours of live action to bring you today. There has never been a more exciting time to be a fan of the TT. It's 6:20 local time, and we've got the super stocks as well and the super sports. A little bit later on, we have the sidecar classes as well. So plenty of action to bring you. And I'm delighted to say alongside me in the studio is the fastest woman ever around the TT course. She's also a British Superbike competitor, a Guinness World Record holder, and a Hollywood stunt woman as well, Jenny Timoth. Jenny, it's fantastic to see you. Before we look ahead at what's coming up tonight, let's look back at yesterday then, the first qualifying session. What stood out to you?
Oh, just to see the bikes back riding around the course, the sun shining, and just the spectators enjoying it. It was a fantastic evening yesterday, and it was great to see Davy Todd. He was absolutely flying. What he's doing already is just fantastic and just great to see. Yeah,
he's fresh off the back of a fantastic Northwest 200 in Northern Ireland. Lots of hype around Davy coming in. I heard an interview with him from last night, actually, and you said what took him by surprise was how much physical pain he was in afterwards. His knees were sore, his neck was sore, his head was sore. It's not just remembering this course for the competitors, it's remembering the physical challenge of it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You forget how bumpy this is and how much you don't actually sit on the seat of the motorbike. You're always off one side to the other side and then getting buffeted by the wind. It's a very physical course and a very physical kind of competition to try and compete in, and you forget that. You know, you got to remind yourself of that, and the competitors will be aching a bit today, I'm sure.
But with that in mind then, what are the competitors looking to take from the second qualifying session?
So yesterday, there would have been ones that were trying to get back into the rhythm of the course, just getting their markers, learning where they are and getting back up to speed. And then there'll be the other ones that are feeling comfortable already, and they'll be wanting to find those extra little bits. So they'll be doing suspension changes, a few electronic changes, and they will be wanting to test them out tonight for sure.
Well, I said our studio is only a few yards from the grid, but I think I know two guys who are even closer than we are. Matt Roberts and Cameron Donald are there with the action.
Yeah, thanks, Rick. As you can probably hear behind us, the riders and the bikes in particular starting to warm up down here in the holding area, which is more than can be said for the temperatures, Cam, because it's been cloudy and overcast all day. We've had a few spots of rain. Thankfully, it's dry, but it's chilly. Conditions are a little bit different to yesterday.
Yeah, they'll be a little bit more challenging. Of course, we got ideal conditions last night. I mean, it was magic. Warm skies and a warm road surface. They would have put a bit of rubber down last night, so that will bring the grip levels up. But of course, the conditions are much cooler. There could be a little dampness under the trees and around the curbs. So although the riders will be familiar with the circuit after yesterday's practice, they'll have to have a look around on this first lap.
Very early days, of course, and we don't like to look too much into times and stuff, especially after the first night. But generally speaking, Cam, what did we learn yesterday?
We learnt they haven't forgot which way the circuit goes. I mean, the times were quick straight away, and you know, quicker than they were in first night's practice back in 2019 when we were last here. So yeah, they were quick times.
The guys that we expected to be there were there, but there were a couple of surprise names as well, putting in some really strong times.
Yeah, absolutely. Sam West on the Superbike slotting into third spot there with a very strong time. Yeah, quite impressive. Apart from that, it probably was really the usual suspects up the front. But yeah, that was a very impressive time by Sam.
And to say we've not been here for, what, 3 years now, Cam, actually the pace
than Michael Dunlap was on the quickest Supersport lap of the week yesterday.
Peter Hickman on his Supersport got a bit of work to do on that Triumph. Doing most of his work out there on his super bike and on his super stock. He's just gone through a 4:33.4 as we look at a replay of Michael Dunlop wrestling his that black bike with the green background, number 6, of course, for Michael.
He did look very racy away from here at the grandstand. He didn't do his usual sweep out to the right-hand side towards where the old scoreboards used to be and away. He just went literally arrows straight down Glencrutchery Road towards St Ninians.
Someone just down below us, who was led off at the start, has run into some trouble, but has just got going again now. Computer says no, it looks like, but finally away down
parts of the course as they go into Ramsey.
the back straight there. John McGuinness is next in picture as well. So Davy Todd fastest through Ballath. Next up for them will be Ramsey. Ian Hutchinson, number 4 there in the Super Sport thus far. 9th place for Hutchins, 123.336 is his best time so far.
Quick look at the order into Ballath then. Dean Harrison fastest on the Super Sports, 7 minutes 50.4. Peter Hickman 7 minutes 50.9. So only half a second between them. Davy Todd, who set that fastest sector time, he is third fastest, 7:51.4. Then Connor Cummins, James Hillier, Ian Hutchinson and Paul Jordan. Michael Dunlop is obviously the quickest of the Super Twins, 8 minutes and 6.8. Then Gary Johnson on an 8:23, Lee Johnson on an 8:24. Looking at all times combined to Glen Helen, Glenn Irwin is the 4th fastest rider on the night on the opening run out to Glen Helen, although obviously he is out on his Super Stock while the others are out on Super Sport and Super Twins.
Yeah, the leaders have been heading it down to Selby Straight. We've got eyes on them actually, and all the riders that are mentioning how lumpy and bumpy it is, but we can see it with our very own eyes right now, because coming towards the end of it is Connor Cummins. He's followed by Lee Johnston on his Ashcourt Aprilia Super Twin. Davy Todd then from Dean Harrison and Peter Hickman from Glen Helen to Ballath. I tell you what, Michael Dunlop is doing an excellent job of keeping tabs of James Hillier. Now, since Hillier has gone through on that Super Sport, he's using him as the perfect reference.
Yeah, we're going to get a nice split up, I think, there, where Michael in the slipstream off James. Just news on Dominic Herbertson. He has stopped at the Railway Inn in Union Mills, making his own arrangements back to the grandstand.
They're through Milltown on the approach now to Ramsey, the leaders. So we're going to see them any second now. You will see number 5, James Hillier on his Super Sport, that Rich Energy OMG Racing Yamaha. And you'll see the pattern of Michael Dunlop tucked in right behind him. Ian Hutchinson is starting just to reel in John McGuinness as well. They're through Ramsey. Michael Dunlop has gone purple on the...
less of the wow, we're back, and now it's like, okay, let's go.
Now, Horst, a little bit of a surprise last night. Davy Todd was the fastest. You know, he's only been coming here for 2 years. Are you expecting everybody to get quicker tonight?
Oh dear, what's happened here? There's a blowout. Davey Todd's bikers, there's the smoke pouring out of it as he goes onto the mountain. Todd recognised that immediately.
And pulled over off the racing line very, very quickly.
Yeah, top work from Davey. So, unfortunately, work to do for the Paget's team. Now, they're through the bungalow. Get this, purple for Ian Hutchinson. Fantastic stuff from Hutchie, winding the years back as we're just watching a replay here of Mike Brown on his Supersport into hairpin, getting it all crossed up and then just about managing to get through. The Irishman, of course, he's struggled with his ankles on the approach to this, but he's through. There's no problems for him. So, yeah, Ian Hutchinson, fastest through the bungalow at this particular moment in time. He was a good 5 seconds quicker through there, actually, than Dean Harrison.
Absolutely. Just looking at Michael Dunlop's time to the bungalow. Sorry, back to you, Steve, quickly.
Yeah, just Dunlop's actually gone through on Hillier again on the road. So James Hillier on his Supersport bike passed Michael Dunlop, but Michael Dunlop has gone back through. So incredible stuff from Dunlop on his Super Twin.
That would have been a bit of a surprise for James when he came swinging by on the path.
He would have heard him as well, that's for sure. Here we can just see the number 6 just up ahead of the number 5.
Into and they are literally line astern. Hillier now sat right behind Dunlop. He'll probably have him on the sweep down the hill, you would imagine. Oh, no. In fact, he's looking back there with James Hillier off the machine.
Yeah, just on the exit of Craig Nabar there. James Hillier having a good look over his shoulder. Don't know if he's got a problem or he's just checking to see who's about. Let's go down to Chris. He's with Dom Herbertson.
Yeah, Dominic's done the old thing of turning off. I think it was at Union Mills and getting the back roads back. Dominic, problems with the twin? What's up?
We had a quick engine change yesterday, but like everything, 2 engines aren't quite marrying up with electronics. So we had a bit of a surge problem going in the Union Mills, and it was just getting progressively worse. And wasn't worth risking. Get the bike fixed, ready for race.
All right, let you go. Thanks. Let Neil and the guys get the bike out. Thank you very much, Dominic Herbertson. They'll get it sorted. It's good news that he's managed to get back out on track, and you can just hear the 600 just firing up next to us here now. Back to you, Steve and Chris.
Yeah, thanks very much, Chris. We're with Dom the Bomb. Hopefully he'll be able to get back out shortly. They're through Cronknamona now then, so we're going to get our first bikes over the line in just under a minute's time. Dean Harrison's gone purple through there. Michael Dunlop and James Hillier are having a proper ding-dong here. One on a Super Twin, one on a Super Sport. You'll see them coming through. Number 42, leg down, Ramsey hairpin there. That is Jamie Kringle.
Jamie's put the most laps in this weekend. I think he's got 18 laps in so far up to tonight, so he's going really nicely. Dunlop's time to Cronknamona is about 5 seconds slower than his lap last night, but we'll hear the rumble very soon on Glen Crutchery Road.
Right, Dom Herbertson's just leaving pit lane on his Cowton Racing 600. We now keep our eyes over towards Glen Crutchery because we're going to get our first bikes over the line any second now. Here they are, Michael Dunlop and James Hillier. Michael Dunlop then goes across the line, a 1:20.303 for Michael Dunlop. Just, a touch slower than he was yesterday, but a few damp patches out there. Dean Harrison, 123.044 on his Supersport machine. Across the line there for Ian Hutchinson, 122.7. That must be just a tad slower than his best in Supersport as well. So 4 riders over the line. Harrison, Hutchinson, Hillier are 1, 2, 3 in Supersport. And of course, the only Super Twins across the line at the moment, Michael Dunlop.
And James
Supersport, John McGuinness, 116.5. He came into pit lane though, so those of you in the grandstand that want a shot of McPint, who will be heading down. In fact, he's just about to come under the grandstand now. John McGuinness, MBE. It's Harrison, Hutchinson, Hickman, and Connor Cummins now has just moved up into 4th. The Manxman, 121.7 for him. His best yesterday was a 123.6. But remember, this is from a standing start. Michael Dunlop is in the pit lane. He's ready to go back out again, one would imagine, on his 600.
Yeah, indeed. Just tracking Glenn Irwin. He's just slipped off a little bit on the
running wide up over the mountain. There's a couple of places a bit sketchy and whatnot. A few damp patches that you're just not really worth taking the risk.
Do you think it's going to dry out though with this wind? There's no other rain falling, is there? We got reports of rain at Glen Helen.
No, there was no rain there. There was no rain when I was there. Was rain now?
No. This was before you went out.
Oh yeah, no, it's just dry as a bone. It's just through that centre hall section, the hairpins, damp, just coming to the goosenecks bit. There's patchy bits there too.
And the dip, governor's dip.
Oh, it's just covered in leaves.
Because it's so windy.
Yeah, there's a lot of leaves down there, but yeah, it's all right. You know.
What about the rest of your plan?
Yeah, I'm going to go out the twin here now. I've made a few changes in it.
And there you go, Paul. Thank you very much, Paul Jordan from the Pres Racing team. Interesting now, you're saying about the back of the machine. He felt the back of the machine squatting up and down. What would be the problem there, Horst?
It can be many things. But, when I looked how they started, I thought they are all ready to race. This was just the body language of every rider. They give it everything. They didn't give 1/10 of a second of the start. And I think they are in race modus now. And, yeah, the problem can be anything. I don't know.
They've made a couple of changes, possibly gone the wrong way.
Yeah, for sure, with the rear suspension, because otherwise, what should it else be? But it could be also, jumping rear can come from a stretched chain or something. It says you have to search on different places, but I think they will handle this in a short time. They will fix it.
All right, Horst, thank you very much for your time. Jenny Timothy Jones as well. Beth, okay there?
Yeah, I'm just thinking there's definitely a heightened sense of activity here today. And I'm guessing, the fact, Horst, that this is the final qualifying session, it does play on people's minds.
Yeah, you can see it. They give it all. Like Michael Dunlop going down after 50 meters. I knew he is in full race modus. He will be trying to go as fast as he can. And normally after all these laps they could do, they would already be racing now, and I think they are ready for it.
What happens for people, though, Chris, who don't qualify?
You can go and plead to the clerk of the course, who, in extenuating circumstances, may say yes, may say no. It is his decision, and his decision is final. Clerk of the course, and I'm not sure if it's the race committee like Spaniel. There's other clerk of the course used to say, yep, okay, you're a quality rider, we know you can do these times, and they will let you go. But again, it's his decision. But again, if you haven't done any laps, you probably say no. But if you've done a couple, you might say yes. Bring a bag of sweets. That's all I can say. Maybe some bag of sweets and horse selfie stick will probably win you the argument.
That'd do
I would say.
it?
What do you think?
Hey.
More times coming through from Chris and Steve up there in the tower.
Yeah, thanks, Skinners. Thanks, guys. Yes, they are. Peter Hickman is through. Glen Helen, a number of Supersport riders are through. Actually, Hutchie, Hickman, Cummins, and James Hillier. Purple sector for Peter Hickman through Glen Helen. Yesterday, Boydie, Hickman's best on his Supersport was 122.949. How does that look after Glen Helen?
Let's just see what the time was out there. Hickman was there, 4:27.1. How does that compare with Michael Dunlop's fastest of the week at 4:29.0? So he is faster than Michael Dunlop's fastest super sport lap of the week on the run out to Glen Helen.
That bodes very well, because you would argue that Glen Helen perhaps isn't the strong suit for him. Dean Harrison at the moment is the fastest rider from the evening thus far, 123.044. Let's get down and hear the thoughts of Dean now.
Yeah, 123.044. Dino, little run out in the 600. How was it?
A little bit damp in a few places, to be honest. It was sort of when we approaching the Ginger Ale section, you sort of could see the damp patches in the road, so I sort of knocked it off the whole way through there. And then obviously it got a little bit worse as I got to Ramsey. Then a little few patches on the mountain, so I just rolled it and knocked and sort of got myself back, got one steady lap, and the jobs are good.
How does the bike feel?
600 is good, to be honest. Yeah, no, I love riding the 600. It's so much fun to ride. I ride it, it doesn't ride me, if you know what I mean. So no, it worked out well.
Big bike in a bit?
Yeah, I'm going to jump on the lap on the Stocker, and then the plan is to get a lap on the Superbike, and then finish the session and be ready for tomorrow then.
All right, Dean, thank you.
Cheers, thank you.
Dean Harrison riding for the Dow Racing team there. Interesting horse. We'll just move out of everybody's way and just come over here a minute. And it's interesting what he was just saying there about the big bikes. When he jumps onto the little bike, a lot of the guys, it feels like a moped.
Yeah, it is now for him. This will be like a little shock now, coming from the small bike to the big bike. On the other way around, it's much better. Start with the big bike, and then it's like holiday. You're doing the last 2 laps of practice session at the 600. You feel so relaxed.
I'm going to ask you about the damp patches you were just saying. As a rider, when you're looking along, when you've been told before you go there's going to be damp, are you looking for them consciously? How easy do they stand out?
The biggest problem is the damp patches, they always stay in the shade, so if it's a little bit sunny and in the shade of the trees or in the shade of the walls, even over the mountain, you don't know, is this only the shade or is it damp? So you have to be really careful. It's like out of Ramsey hairpin. This is one of the worst places. It's so dark there, you can't see it really.
Okay, Horse Saget, yeah, and Gary Ryan is speaking to Jenny Timoth. Jen.
Hi, Gary. Just Michael's obviously flying on the pattern. Is everything okay? Is he happy enough?
Yeah, no, he's happy with the pattern. Pattern's a good bike. The boys do a good job on it. It's easy for us, that bike. The lads just build it. It's a new bike. They land with it, and he just rides it. But no, they put new clutch in. It's even new chain, so he's a bit steady away there. But no, quick lap, yeah.
So you're just no suspension settings, just stretching the chain in and clutch, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and it's ready to go. So yeah, look, we won't do any more with it between now and Wednesday.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks very much.
Cheers.
Jenny Timoth and Gary Ryan had a bit of a chat there. Now Johnny Barton's about to go out on his twin as well. Don't see Davey Morgan out on his yet. Davey, how's things? Davey Morgan?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, just made a few changes. It's just still haven't got it quite right. A few damp patches as well, but it's okay.
600 settling well, or just major changes or little changes, or a bit of both?
Yeah, well, there's some suspension issues still, and I need to tune in a wee bit as well.
After a few years away, we all do, don't we, Davey? What about the big bike?
Yeah, I'm enjoying riding it as well. I've a bit of an arm issue with holding the throttle open full, and it's frustrating me a wee bit because there's places where I know I can go faster, and my arm just won't let me. But hopefully Isla has that sorted out.
She's on the case. Thanks, Davey.
Cheers.
Davey Morgan there. Johnny Barton's here as well. I think Johnny might be heading back out in a minute on his number 19 machine. More times coming in. Jen, where are you again? Have you got anybody else? Jen and Beth?
No, we're
there you are. Hello.
Just trying not to get run over.
That's
at the
okay.
moment,
Yeah, you have to watch. You have to be really on your guard in here. All right, what time are we on this session? Just going to quickly look at this. This session due to end at 19:10. So we've got another 10 minutes to go in the session. And interesting what Davey Morgan was saying there is that a lot of these riders have struggled to get their heads back to the speeds of this place, even after the Northwest 200. No, Davey didn't do it. He's done other roads, but a lot of riders are struggling.
Yeah, the Northwest 200 is completely different character of the course. You go straight out, you break down, you're really slow, then you accelerate again. Here, you have to carry the speed through all the corners, so you ultimately all the time on really high speed, so it makes it completely different.
Thank you very much, Horse. I think the girls have headed off. Who have you got, Beth and Jen?
Just going along here. Who are we going to talk to, Jen? We were going to talk to Davey, but he's actually still sat on his machine at the moment, just running through some settings, I think, with his mechanics. He's on the Aprilia machine it's got GP2 fairing on it, but obviously some setup changes there as he's just come back in.
number 48. Joseph Loughlin's just gone out on his Super Twin. He's been going really, really well in practice. And Ian Locker, Horst, has an eye for a good young rider, doesn't he?
Yeah, it looks like, huh? Wow, this is so impressive. These lap times that they do now, these newcomers on the 600s, it's outstanding.
What was your lap times when you were here the first time you were here? Can you remember that far? Oh, hang on.
No, I can't remember.
I'm sure we can look back and find them.
I know it was 123.8. I was only here with the big bike, and I think I made about 6 laps before the race, or was it 5?
It was a long time ago. As Joe Loughlin just leaves in the background. Back to Steve and Chris.
Yeah, thanks very much, guys. Peter Hickman's just gone through Ramsey. He's now approaching. We just heard, of course, that it's quite damp around here. So Peter Hickman's had one go of Ramsey. That was much more tidy. He was purple through Ramsey as well. Michael Dunlop, incidentally, was purple through Balaf. So don't forget, he's gone back out on his Super Sport. Just a quick reminder to those here watching around the course. This is a no drone area. The Isle of Man TT, full stop, no drones. Looking at the leaderboard, Michael Dunlop from Glen Helen to Balaf is fastest from Davy Todd. Of course, Davy Todd's bike blew up by the looks of things, so he's parked to one side. Dean Harrison third, Hickman in fourth. Hickman is out on the course, so we've got a couple of potential good laps coming in here, Boydie.
Have we else too? We're monitoring both the Michael Dunlop and the Peter Hickman laps. Hickman's lap out as far as Balaf is a 7:43.2. The fastest Super Sport lap of the week is a 7:43.0, so he's only 0.2 of a second off that. Michael Dunlop is obviously on a standing start lap. He's there in 7:44.7 compared to that 7:43 that he did last night. Who has the purple sector for the run out to Glen Helen, Steve Day?
The rider that has the purple sector for Glen Helen is Glenn Irwin. Glen Helen is Glenn Irwin on his super stock machine, 424.411. Of course, Glenn had a great day yesterday on his super stock machine. He managed to put himself in 11th overall, the newcomer, with 126.689. There's a couple of retirements that you just wanted to bring to our attention as well, Boydie.
There is indeed, just running down the list. Stefano Bonetti stopped at Beery Bridge, which I think is on the run out towards Ballacrane. David Todd, we know, we blew up at the Mountain Box. Pete Murray has stopped at Sulby Bridge. Heffen Owen at Sulby Crossroads, so they're relatively close together. And James Chalk at Parliament Square in Ramsey. Michael Dunlop is through Ramsey. Another purple sector for Michael on the Super Sport machine. It's not as fast as his fastest lap of the week. Obviously, we wouldn't expect that given the conditions, but it is a double purple sector lap for Michael Dunlop against all of his opponents in the Super Sport class.
Michael Russell is with Beth. Down to you.
Michael, just tell me first of all about your little trip back to the grandstand last night.
Oh, you heard about that one? Yeah. No, I mean, it's the Isle of Man, and many things happen. You break down short circuits. What do you do? Get on the back of the old travelling marshal. Not in the Isle of Man. No, you have to. I've caught buses in the past. I've been chased by bulls, and yesterday I ended up catching the tram back from the bungalow. It was just good fortune, if I'm honest. We went out on the sidecar when they changed the sidecars around yesterday. I was a little bit panicky just in case we did have an issue. We were aiming for 2 laps. Unfortunately, we did. You know, it's the Isle of Man. You know, things always go wrong, and if they're going to go wrong, they're going to go wrong for me. So we ended up coming. Is it Graham's Memorial? Broke down at Graham's Memorial, pulled the bike off, and I was panicking. I was like, we've lost the session here, and I need to get on the twin. Spoke to the marshals and said, look, is there any way back? And just as we were chatting, there was a tram coming up the line, and I didn't even realise the ram trams while TT's on. So he was like, look, we'll radio through the bungalow, get that held. And I was like, Christ, I nearly broke my ankle 3 times running across the fen. I turned into a bit of a fen runner for the day. All the gear on, no idea. Jesus Christ, it was hard work. And I sounded like an asthmatic dog by the time I got to the tram, but Jesus, we made it. And the tram, you know, thanks to Sam Brown and the tram guys for holding it for me. And it was a stick operation from there on. We got down to Laxey, met up with PT on the bike. He sort of slung the bike at me and said, right, get back to the paddock. Came back and we had plenty of time to get out for the twin, so there's no rush in the end. Don't know what I was panicking about.
Could have had an ice cream.
Do you know, I should have stopped up there, but yeah. I mean, it can only happen at the TT, and fingers crossed that's the last time I have to catch the tram back down. And it was the first time, but you never say never, eh?
How's it been so far this evening then?
It was, well, we lost the gear shifter 3 miles in, so we had to use the side of the boot to change up and down the gearbox for that lap. But, you know, it's a good job it came off now. That's what practice and testing is all about. Yeah, fingers crossed, twins all good to go. So we're not going to, you know, for longevity of the engine as such, you know, I'm not a massive fan of stressing engines, hence why I ride so slowly. And yeah, we don't want to put too much extra mileage on it, so we're going to leave that one for the night. Now that's all done and dusted, and concentrate on the big bike. Unfortunately, we're still not qualified on the big bike. We were well in my head. We would have been well within the qualifying time, but the BMW electronic throttle shut down over the mountain on Tuesday night. And since then, we've just been chasing our tails, you know, breaking down on the twin the other night and bits and pieces going wrong. It's now like it's lastminute.com. So we just need to put in I mean, it's a bit greasy under the trees round, you know, sort of exiting Ramsey. So I'm fairly confident we can get within the qualifying time. That shouldn't be a drama as long as the bike's handling well. So we've got some, hopefully, a sort of softish suspension setting in there, which is the sort of way I like to ride it, nice and mellow. And from then we can, just get that qualifying lap in. Fingers crossed, eh? And go again for tomorrow. Fingers crossed.
Well, we'll have a bus timetable standing by, but all being well.
I think I've got about 3 taxi numbers on standby now. And tram lines and all sorts going on. You know, honestly, I can't thank the guys enough. Sam was lovely gent on the brakes yesterday. I think he'd brake man. I said, look, can you let it off a bit so we can get down a bit quicker? And he said, I don't worry, it's not on. But yeah, no, all good. Really enjoyed it, and we made it back. So thanks to everyone and the general public for cheering us on while we were forest company across the mountains.
What an image you paint. Thank you so much for talking to us.
No worries. Thanks very much.
115.03 for Mike Russell. Back to the boys in the tower. They're here.
Yeah, thank you very much. We're Super Sports are now coming over. Here's James Hillier. He's coming in, of course, because we've only got just a couple of minutes before this session ends, and then we've got the Superbike action. So, across the line, Hillier, 121.5 for him. Ian Hutchinson, 122.7 for Hutchie. That's put him into second place overall. We're now waiting for Peter Hickman, number 10, on his Triumph 765. That'll sound a little different to your normal Yamahas that you just heard there and Kawasaki's. Any second now, I'd expect Peter Hickman. Here he is. The unmistakable sound of that Triumph. And Hickman goes fastest for the evening, 124.835. That is going to put him in 5th place overall in the combined Super Sport standings. But it is the fastest time of the night so far. He goes ahead of Dean Harrison. A few more riders through Cronknamona as well. I think we're going to get Connor Cummins coming over shortly. And also we're waiting for Michael Dunlop, Boydie.
Michael still on the run down. There we are. He's just arrived at Cronknamona this very second. A 2:22.29 is sector time. So he is running about 3 seconds faster than Peter Hickman's lap was, on about a 1:25.1 pace for Michael Dunlop.
Connor Cummins at 123.5. That moves him into second place on the night. 123.6 yesterday. So just a fraction off his best thus far. We will wait, of course, for Michael Dunlop to come over the line, and surely he'll then get himself into pit lane ahead of the start of Superbike, Super Stocks. Of course, you can continue on your Super Sport if you so wish.
Just news on Glenn Irwin. He's through Ramsey on this second lap, and he is the second fastest rider to Ramsey on this second lap behind Peter Hickman.
Yeah, let's get Michael Dunlop over the line, and we'll see where we're going to place this one. Remember, Dunlop 126.662 on his Super Sport, right on cue. Here he comes over the line. Michael Dunlop, 125.040 is the fastest time of the night so far. Let's drop down to Beth. She's with 23-year-old who lives just down the road. He actually is racing on the roads that he drives to work on. Nathan Harrison is with you.
Nathan, how's it going so far this evening?
Yeah, not too bad. It's a bit damp out there, so we give it a good run to Sorby Bridge, and then just seeing what it was like through to Ramsey. A bit patchy, so did nothing stupid through there and through Ramsey, and then give it a bit of a run on the way back down the mountain. So yeah, that was on the 600 just to get back into it, and I made a few changes to the big bike that we're going to head out on shortly. So probably do the same thing there, give it a run to Ramsey, and then just ride through the patchy bits. and nothing stupid before tomorrow's Superbike race.
Yeah, so hopefully not too much to tinker with this evening.
Yeah, hopefully not. We've made a small change just to help with the riding of it. Obviously, it's going to be my first 6-lap race tomorrow, so it's going to be a bit of a handful. But no, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to treat it as 6 laps of practice just because it's my first TT. And just, 6 laps of practice and see where I end up at the end of it.
How much coffee are you going to drink in the morning?
Probably not enough. I'll need it afterwards anyway to keep me going. I don't know what time I'll be going to bed tomorrow night. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it, and can't wait.
Well, I hope the rest of the evening goes really well for you, Nathan. Thanks for talking to us.
No worries, thank you.
Now let's head back up to Steve in the tower.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, so Michael Dunlop fastest on the night, 125.0, but the big bikes are about to go out. So let's take a little breather. We'll be back after this.
There's nothing like the TT. It demands the highest level of skill and focus to master the demanding 37 3/4 mile course. For over 100 years, it's been the Isle of Man's signature sporting event. So, here at RL360, it makes us incredibly proud to have been involved with the TT Superstock race for the last 20 years, making us the longest running TT sponsor. RL360, for life's financial journey.
For over 30 years, RST have been passionate about providing quality motorcycle clothing with the highest safety standards.
We're proud to be the official safety partner of the TT, and right now our full TT collection is available at our TT shop at the main grandstand.
You don't want to miss this, with exclusive in-store promotions for the TT period.
For outstanding comfort, durability and safety at an affordable price. It can only be RST.
The RST TT shop. Find us at the main grandstand.
Hello everyone and welcome to Bennett's Bike Social and Front End Chatter, Britain's best biking podcast. And hey, Mufka, did you know motorcycle insurance specialist Bennett are giving everyone the chance to win a fully restored 1997 Suzuki GSX-R 750 S-Rad? Meticulously rebuilt by Isle of Man TT winner and part-time bike restorer Lee Johnston.
That's right, Simon. Lee and the legendary Jim Whittam have literally spared their expenses to fully restore a classic Suzuki 750 sports bike. And Bennett are giving it to one lucky winner.
Oh, I wouldn't mind an S-Rad in the Front End Chatter garage. How do I enter?
Oh, it's so easy, Si. Even you could do it. For a chance to win the restored Suzuki GSX-R 750 only with Bennett, just go online and get an insurance quote at bennett.co.uk.
Terms and conditions apply. Search for Bennett's Bike and get an insurance quote online at www.bennett.co.uk. Bennett's Motorcycling Services Limited is authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority.
Okay, good evening. We continue the evening's action, the final qualifying night of the Isle of Man TT Races 2022, fueled by Monster Energy. Fastest time of the night so far, Mickey D on his Super Sport, 125.040. Few riders still out on the course, of course, just being flagged in on a short lap because, of course, shortly we'll get underway with Superbike, Super Stock and Super Sport. Little update for you. Craig Shipek went down at the Waterworks. Rider is okay. That was an incident earlier on. In the Super Twins, Michael Dunlop fastest, 120.3 from Lee Johnston, 116.0. And Rob Hodson was third ahead of the rookie Joe Lachlan. Michael Evans was fifth. Barry Ferber sixth. Gary Johnson seventh. Reese Hardesty in eighth place. So no improved times thus far. Of course, some damp patches if people are just tuning in at the moment. Some leaves on the circuit. Well, we kind of knew that was going to be the case, Boydie, from the heavy rain that we had on the island earlier.
It was indeed. Around lunchtime, we had a little bit of band of rain that swept through, and obviously that's just left its mark. We were hearing of spits of rain out at Glen Helen not long before the session started as well. So conditions not perfect, but good enough for us to get out there and get some qualifying underway. The times are just down a little bit, not a huge amount, it has to be said. We were expecting the combined Superbike, Superstock and Supersport session to start at 19:10. Obviously that's gone now for 5 minutes or so ago. Nothing has gone out onto track in the last few minutes, so there is presumably just a short delay to the start of this session, but we're not aware of any issues out there. Glenn Irwin, third fastest lap of the night.
Yeah,
Steve.
fantastic. He's just doing magic work at the moment, isn't he? 124.192 for Glenn Irwin. He's now about to get himself ready for a Superbike lap. So third fastest lap. That was fantastic from him. Just a quick shout out to Mike Brown, number 30. I mean, we all know what condition he came into these 2 weeks in with his ankles. And I know we might sound like a broken record talking about it, but when you see him hobbling around a paddock, it really is sensational because he just keeps on improving his times. That's his fastest Supersport time of the week, 121.8. So fantastic work from him because he must be feeling it now. These guys have done a lot of laps. We've had action every single night so far. So that's fantastic for him. Dominic Herbertson, of course, got out and got a lap in before this session finished as well. Let's find out what Connor Cummins makes of his Supersport machine. He was just a fraction off his best from yesterday. He's third fastest Supersport so far tonight, Beth.
So Connor, third fastest Supersport so far tonight. How was it out there?
A bit patchy. There was a few flags, so I just took it a bit steady in certain areas where I had to, really. I felt good, steady enough.
So what's the plan for the rest of the night? How are things looking setup-wise?
Going to go for one lap on the Superstock bike and then finish tonight on the Superbike.
Okay, well, I hope it goes well for you, Connor. Thank you so much for talking to us. And Jenny's just been finding out about how Davey Todd is doing, and apparently he's borrowed an enduro bike and is making his way back.
Michael Dunlop snaps the lid of the visor shut on the RI helmet and gets himself into position. Wiggles the steering just a little bit. It gives Michael Rutter a thumbs up. He's just behind him, Michael, on the slick front and the slick rear. And it is, let's have a little look, see what he's actually on there. He's on the Dunlop on the rear. So there we go. We'll have the Dunlop on the front, the number 6, the big stage at 1886 flags. Yeah, there's the rain flags and lack of adhesion flags at Stella Maris due to the gooseneck, so they're going to have to be looking out for that. So they get the instructions. There's a little board as you come up the ramp there now. So number 6, the white plate with the black number, Ugly and Co. with the black dubbers on the side of that one as well. And Michael clinks it into gear. The Hawk Racing machine gets ready to go. The light will go on. There's a new light system, and away we go. Michael Dunlop first down the centre of pit lane. Next will be the Super Stock machine, the Bathams machine of number 3, Michael Rutter. Rutter's quickest lap so far on that, 125.157. Ian Hutchinson next. Slicks all round for him on the Superbike. The number 4 Superbike so far, 128.431 for Ian. Number 20 is Craig Neave next. He's on his Super Stock machine. The red background with the white numbers, 125.87. He's away. Hopefully no fuel issues for Penny Hickman tonight. He's on the number 10 machine on that Superbike. 133.22 for him. Oh, that sounds meaty, doesn't it? Here's the number 12 bikes next of Jamie Cowan, the Stenflight Group, the R1. 128.390, his quickest lap of the week. That was on Wednesday, though. The Dow Racing bike, he told us this earlier on, he's going to go out on the Stocker first. The number 2 machine of Dean Harrison, Dow Racing Kawasaki, and he's away. Number 18 is next on the big bike, also Derek Shields, 126.495 last night, Derek, on the Roadhouse Macau BMW. He's away. Number 5, James Hillier on the Superbike again, 128.431. Number 5, the white background with the black numbers, the Rich Energy OMG machine. Brian McCormack away next on the number 17 bike. That's the Superstock version of it. Gives it a good old rev. 125.549 for the big Southern Irishman BMAC. 28 just spoke to Beth a few minutes ago. Nathan Harrison, 126.541. His quickest lap on the white plated machine. And the Elman Steve Packer Company machine heads away. 19, Sean Anderson on the Hawk Racing Suzuki. On the number 19 this year is Sean, 126.989. And Sean is away. 114 is next. Then, of course, Big Phil Crow, 127.686. His quickest lap from last night for the Handtrans BMW. Mike Brown out next on the number 29 big bike for John Burrows RK Racing. His quickest lap 124.224 on the big Suzuki. Number 40 is next. That's Mike Russell. We just heard him speaking to Beth a few minutes ago. He's done 114.561 and the BMW fires away. John McGuinness with a clear visor on. Number 1, you'll see those eyes. He won't blink much. 129.278 for John McGuinness last night, Thursday, on the Fireblade. 38 on the Superstock machine. That's Forrest Dunn. I think it is Forrest. Yep, 119.998 for Forrest. Number 38 on the Stocker. First of our Supersport machines now is number 7. That's Gary Johnson. He was out in the twin a little bit earlier on. What's Gary done? 119. Oh, I beg your pardon. 120.821. Just heard from Connor Cummins, number 11. He's about to head up on the Stocker machine. Connor's quickest lap 128.733. Next machine to go will be number 15. That, of course, is Sam West out on the BMW now. Sam had to stop with technicals last night, and Sam gets away still feeling a bit sore for that incident the other night. Number 18, and we must say happy birthday to number 18 on the 600, Mikey Evans, on the Heat Tech Racing R6 machine. Mikey Evans, happy birthday to you. The bikes are on the way to Glen Helen in a second. Number 13, Lee Johnson's to go on the Ascot BMW. Then number 25, Michael Sweeney. Then number 22, the newcomer Glenn Irwin, this time on the Superbike. Chris and Steve.
Yeah, thank you very much. We're just waiting for the first machines to come through the first sector.
Just watching Connor Cummins, I think it is, just head down into Quarter Bridge on his lap. But yeah, just waiting for these first times to pop up out at Glen Helen. We know the conditions are not perfect out there, and these guys obviously heading out on the super bikes. Anything around about a 4:20 probably. Peter Hickman's pace on the standing start lap last night on a super stock was about a 4:21.8. So if they could do that on the super bikes in these conditions, that would still be quite noteworthy.
Yes, it would indeed, of course. As we just mentioned, it's not perfect conditions out on the course here this evening. And also there will be this mindset of the first race coming up tomorrow. It's time to now get into preparation mode. I've absolutely no doubt, Boydie, that if the sun was beating down on us all day and it was dry, we may well have seen something into the 1-3-4s, but there must be a number of these guys now just started to click into race mode. So Michael Dunlop, it is, who went out first. He's through Glen Helen, 4 minutes 19.8 for Mickey D out in his Hawk Racing Superbike.
I did say anything around that 4:18 mark would be very respectable indeed. A 4:19 is, in fact, 4:21 I was targeting, so they're actually a little bit quicker than that. 4:19 for Michael Dunlop on the Superbike, as we can see Michael Rutter heading up towards Sarah's Cottage as well, away from Glen Helen, then over Lamfell and onto Cronkerbody, then through Molyneux and down into the 11th milestone. As we wait, Peter Hickman now arriving at Glen Helen as well. Let's get an indication of the splits between Hickman and Dunlop. It is Hickman who's fastest, a 4:16.9. Wow.
Yeah, that's good from Peter Hickman on his Gas Monkey Garage by FHO Racing BMW. Craig Neve has just gone through there as well. And just as we speak, on the number 12 Yamaha Superbike, Jamie Coward as well. Couple of riders just leaving in front of us, just down in pit lane. That bright yellow, green and black bike of number 58 is Josh Daly. He's got Paul Sculthorpe here